From the ashes of war, one of the poorest nations on earth, how did they build a miracle? It's an inspiring story of resilience and innovation. The transformation is truly remarkable. Now, they've unleashed a new power, an arsenal of culture that has conquered the world. Their influence is undeniable, and their impact is felt globally. This cultural wave is sweeping the globe. The full story is here. A special ATM documentary is available for you. Watch now and discover the secrets behind this phenomenon. Prepare to be absolutely amazed by what you see.
They report the chaos. We reveal the agenda.
Good evening, and welcome to ATM. Look at this image. A nation in ruins. One of the poorest on Earth, utterly destroyed by war. Now look at this. A dazzling global metropolis, a powerhouse of technology and culture that has captivated the world. These two images are the same place, separated by just one lifetime. How did South Korea rise from the ashes to become an economic and cultural titan? It wasn't a miracle. It was a brutal, relentless, and brilliantly executed plan. In 1953, the Korean War ended in a stalemate, leaving the peninsula scarred and divided. South Korea was a wasteland. Its GDP per capita was less than $70, putting it on par with the poorest nations in Africa and Asia. It had no significant natural resources. Its infrastructure was obliterated, and it faced the constant existential threat of a hostile North Korea just miles away. The world had written it off. Survival required a radical and brutal solution. In 1961, General Park Chung-hee seized power in a military coup. He suspended democracy, but he had a vision. His government would become the command center of the economy. He selected a handful of promising family-owned companies and turned them into national champions. These were the chaebols, names you now know well: Samsung, Hyundai, LG. The strategy was simple and relentless: export or die. The government and the chaebols worked in lockstep to produce cheap, high-quality goods for the world. It was a gamble that sacrificed political freedom for economic survival. But the real engine of this miracle was the Korean people. An entire generation sacrificed itself for the future. They worked some of the longest hours in the world, fueled by a national obsession with education as the only path to a better life. The culture of Pali Pali, hurry hurry, was born, an ethos of relentless speed and efficiency. South Korea had achieved its economic miracle. It had built a first-world economy from the rubble of a third-world nation. But the people, now educated and prosperous, began to ask a dangerous question. What good is a golden cage? Now we'll see how the nation fought for its soul. South Korea had achieved the impossible, building a modern economy on the ashes of war, a feat celebrated globally as the miracle on the Han River. This rapid economic growth, initiated after the Korean War, transformed a war-torn nation into an economic powerhouse, a testament to the resilience and hard work of its people. Yet back home, the people who sacrificed everything for this prosperity lived in a golden cage, ruled by a military dictatorship where the economy was first world, but the politics were not. This authoritarian rule, particularly under leaders like Park Chung-hee and later Chun Doo-hwan, suppressed personal freedoms and democratic aspirations despite the economic advancements. A generation educated to think for itself was now poised to fight for its very soul, demanding the democracy they deserved. These students, often at the forefront of dissent, recognized the stark contrast between their nation's economic progress and its lack of political freedom, fueling their resolve for change. A turning point, a wound that is never fully healed in the South Korean psyche, came in May of 1980 in the city of Gwangju. This tragic event would forever be etched into the nation's memory, symbolizing the brutal suppression of democratic ideals. Following another military coup, citizens and students rose up in a peaceful protest, demanding the restoration of democracy. But the response was not negotiation. It was slaughter. The military junta, led by Chun Du-hwan, viewed these peaceful demonstrations as a direct threat to their power, leading to a violent crackdown. The military junta, led by Chung Du-hwan, sent in elite paratroopers who opened fire on their own people, turning the city into a war zone for 10 days. This brutal act of state violence aimed to crush any form of dissent and solidify the military's grip on power, leaving an indelible scar on the nation. Hundreds were killed, thousands were beaten and arrested, as the Gwangju Massacre delivered a bloody message from the dictatorship. Democratic dreams would be crushed. The exact number of casualties remains a point of contention, but the scale of the violence and repression was undeniable, sending shockwaves across the country. But the massacre did not crush the dream. Instead, it watered it with the blood of martyrs, and the anger smoldered for 7 years. The memory of Gwangju became a powerful symbol of resistance, fueling a deep-seated desire for justice and democracy among the populace. Then in June of 1987, it exploded. The death of a student activist, Park Jong-chul, tortured by the police, was the final spark. This egregious act of police brutality ignited widespread outrage and served as the catalyst for a nationwide movement demanding an end to authoritarian rule. The protests began with students, but this time something was different. The middle class, the very salarymen and office workers who had built the economic miracle, poured out of their offices and into the streets. This broad-based participation, transcending traditional activist groups, demonstrated the widespread yearning for democratic change across all segments of society. For weeks, the country was paralyzed by the largest protests in its history, a nationwide peaceful insurrection, not merely a riot. Millions took to the streets in what became known as the June Struggle, demanding direct presidential elections and an end to military dictatorship, showcasing the collective power of the people. The dictatorship faced a choice: unleash a second Gwangju on an unprecedented scale, or surrender to the unstoppable will of its own people. The sheer magnitude and peaceful nature of the protests made a violent crackdown politically untenable, forcing the regime to reconsider its stance. Finally, the regime broke, and on June 29th, they announced they would accept the people's demand for direct presidential elections. This historic declaration, known as the June 29th Declaration, marked a pivotal moment in South Korea's journey towards democracy, fulfilling a long-held aspiration of its citizens. South Korea had won its democracy, but just as it was learning to walk as a free nation, it was hit by a devastating blow: the 1997 Asian financial crisis. This economic upheaval threatened to undo years of progress and tested the resilience of the newly democratic nation. The miracle on the Han seemed over, with the nation on the verge of bankruptcy and forced to accept a humiliating $58 billion bailout from the IMF, a moment of deep national shame. This crisis exposed vulnerabilities in the nation's economic structure and led to widespread hardship, but also spurred a remarkable national response. But what happened next was extraordinary. In a patriotic fervor, millions of ordinary citizens lined up to donate their personal gold to the state to help repay the IMF loan. This unprecedented act of collective sacrifice, where citizens willingly parted with their valuables, demonstrated a profound sense of national unity and determination to overcome the crisis. The crisis, while devastating, also forced a painful but necessary restructuring of the economy, breaking apart the old, rigid chaebol system. This period of economic reform, though difficult, laid the groundwork for a more competitive and diversified economy, moving away from the concentrated power of large conglomerates. This created a vacuum, a space for new, more agile, and more creative industries to emerge, giving birth to South Korea's next and most unbelievable global conquest. From the ashes of the financial crisis, a new era of innovation and cultural influence would rise, transforming South Korea's global standing once again. South Korea had built its economy and won its democracy, achieving remarkable progress in a relatively short period. But as the 21st century dawned, something new and irresistible began to emerge from the ashes of a financial crisis, something that would redefine its global presence. This was a silent, stealthy invasion, not with tanks or military might, but with the infectious rhythms of pop songs. Not with missiles, but with the compelling narratives of captivating TV dramas that drew millions into their emotional depths. This phenomenon was the Hallyu, the Korean wave, a cultural tsunami destined to conquer the world and reshape global perceptions of South Korea. The Korean wave began subtly in the 1990s, captivating audiences across Asia with its meticulously produced K-dramas, known for their emotional depth and compelling storylines, and catchy pop music, characterized by vibrant performances and memorable melodies. However, the internet and platforms like YouTube became Hallyu's superhighway, making South Korean culture accessible everywhere and bypassing traditional Western gatekeepers, allowing it to reach a truly global audience without intermediaries. In 2012, Psy's Gangnam Style became a monumental moment, as it was the first YouTube video to hit 1 billion views, a global phenomenon that unequivocally proved the world was ready for Korean culture and its unique appeal. The meticulously crafted music, stunning visuals, and flawless choreography of K-pop set a new standard of entertainment that was truly irresistible, drawing in fans from every corner of the globe with its high production values and engaging artistry. But Hallyu was more than just pop music. South Korean filmmakers and TV producers were crafting complex, darkly satirical, and deeply human stories that offered unique perspectives on universal themes. These narratives resonated across linguistic and cultural barriers, showcasing a unique perspective on societal issues and human experiences that captivated diverse audiences worldwide. In 2020, Bong Joon-ho's Parasite made history, becoming the first non-English film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture, a testament to its universal appeal and critical acclaim. Then came Squid Game in 2021, which became Netflix's most-watched series of all time, reaching an astonishing 1.65 billion hours viewed in its first month, demonstrating the immense global appetite for Korean content. These were not niche foreign films or series. They were global blockbusters, speaking to universal anxieties about class, inequality, and the human condition, themes that transcend cultural boundaries and resonate deeply with viewers everywhere. South Korea had become a master storyteller, exporting not just entertainment, but a powerful narrative of its own unique perspective, influencing global culture and discourse. This cultural dominance is not just about entertainment. It is a powerful new form of soft power, subtly influencing global perceptions and relationships. When the world falls in love with your culture, it makes them more receptive to your ideas, your products, and your diplomacy, creating a favorable environment for international relations and trade. This is the arsenal of culture, a strategic asset that leverages creativity and cultural appeal to achieve national objectives. Hallyu has made South Korea cool, dynamic, and influential on the global stage, significantly enhancing its diplomatic standing and fostering stronger economic ties with nations worldwide. It makes its technological exports, like Samsung phones and Hyundai cars, even more desirable, serving as a strategic asset built not with military might, but with creativity and global appeal, showcasing a new model for international influence. In our final part, we explore the shadows of this immense success and the geopolitical tightrope South Korea must walk in a new, fractured world, examining the challenges that accompany such widespread influence. We have witnessed an unprecedented rise, a transformation often dubbed the miracle on the Han River. This is an economic miracle, a democratic triumph, and a cultural conquest that has captivated the world. From the ashes of war, South Korea has emerged as a global leader. From the outside, South Korea looks like a nation that has not only won the 21st century, but has set a new standard for rapid development and global influence. Its achievements are truly remarkable and widely celebrated. But every miracle has a price, and for South Korea, the relentless pursuit of perfection has created a society grappling with immense pressure, deep-seated anxieties, and a geopolitical position that is perhaps the most dangerous on Earth. This journey of rapid growth has left its own unique challenges in its wake. The same relentless drive that fueled South Korea's astonishing rise from an agrarian society to a global technological powerhouse has also created one of the world's most competitive and demanding societies. This competitive spirit permeates every aspect of life, from education to employment. From a very young age, children are thrown into a grueling academic pressure cooker, a system designed to push them to their limits. This intense competition culminates in the Sunung, a single 8-hour college entrance exam that is widely considered to determine their entire future, dictating their university, career, and even social standing. The pressure generated by this hyper-competitive environment is so immense and pervasive that it has tragically contributed to South Korea having one of the highest suicide rates in the developed world, affecting individuals across all age groups, from students to the elderly. For adults, the intense pressure cooker of the office, characterized by notoriously long working hours and a demanding corporate culture, simply replaces the classroom. Employees often face immense expectations, leading to exhaustion and a constant struggle for work-life balance. Furthermore, the immense power of the chaebols, the very family-run conglomerates like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG that were instrumental in building the nation's economy, continues to be a significant source of controversy. Recurring scandals of corruption and cronyism fuel widespread public cynicism and distrust, highlighting concerns about unchecked corporate influence. However, the greatest and most constant pressure comes from without. South Korea lives in a perpetual geopolitical nightmare, a nation walking a perilous tightrope over a chasm of international complexities and regional rivalries. Its very existence is a delicate balancing act. On one side, it relies on its indispensable security guarantor, the United States, with 28,500 troops permanently stationed on its soil. These forces act as a critical tripwire, a constant deterrent against potential aggression from the north, ensuring regional stability. On the other side, South Korea's economic lifeline is inextricably linked to China, which accounts for over 25% of its total exports. This makes China its largest trading partner, creating a complex interdependence where economic prosperity is deeply tied to diplomatic relations. Offending Washington risks its very survival, potentially jeopardizing its crucial defense alliance and national security. Conversely, offending Beijing risks economic catastrophe, threatening its vital trade relationships and overall prosperity. This delicate balance is a constant source of strategic anxiety, and all the while, it faces the existential nuclear threat of an unpredictable North Korea, whose constant provocations and advanced weaponry cast a long shadow over the peninsula. This ever-present danger demands constant vigilance and a robust defense posture. This unique combination of internal and external pressures forces South Korea into an impossible, exhausting balancing act. A permanent state of high-stakes strategic anxiety. It is a nation constantly navigating complex diplomatic and security challenges. So what truly is the story of South Korea? It is a profound narrative of impossible odds. A nation born from the literal ashes of war in 1953, which then forged a global economy through sheer will, determination, and an unwavering spirit of innovation. Its journey is unparalleled. It is a people who bravely won their democracy with their own hands, through movements like the Gwangju Uprising and the June Democratic Uprising, and then, against all logic, conquered the world's imagination with their vibrant culture, known as the Hallyu wave, encompassing K-pop, dramas, and cinema. The pressures it faces, both societal and geopolitical, are immense and unrelenting. The geopolitical tightrope it walks between global superpowers and a hostile neighbor is perilous, demanding constant vigilance and skillful diplomacy to maintain stability and prosperity. But to bet against South Korea is to bet against history itself. This is a nation forged in crisis, defined by an extraordinary resilience and fueled by a relentless drive to prove to the world that it not only deserves to survive, but to thrive and lead on the global stage. Its spirit is unconquerable. Its greatest miracle was not merely what it built in terms of economic and cultural power, but the sheer fact that it endured through unimaginable adversity and emerged stronger. Thank you for joining me on ATM for this exploration of South Korea's remarkable journey.